And Frank, you was up there the other day, Cindy, you were there. Those people just, the roads are terrible. I mean, you look at every new house, got muddy tracks going right into the garage. Can we issue them a fine or something? I mean, because they're not paying attention.
Who is it?
They're in the tunnel trails. I actually went up there last Thursday or Friday, I forget. It's awful. Like, I don't think I fully understood. I was like, oh, new construction, but essentially they're tracking, they're working in these sections. So when you pull in and you make a left, and then it lies. They're working up to the right, and they're just tracking mud in the entire, like, path. And there's no way, like, I was told they're running a street sweeper every day. I don't think that that's possible.
No, they're not, okay.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, okay, so you have road ordinance.
We don't own the roads yet.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, we haven't accepted anything,
No,
this
we
is just the
haven't accepted
developer.
roads. So what we did was I worked with Alexa, it's in your office.
Okay,
And the latest developers agreement of McConnell Trails calls out all these issues, gives the township the right to do certain things. I think we should look at that first. And I want to say, I can't recall, but I think we said we should stop building permits.
okay, so
That's
that'd be
the
great, so there might be
that's the only
something
thing
in
that gets their attention.
I drove over there, so out of curiosity, because I understand there's some level of mud that you can't avoid while you're doing the construction. But when you're starting first thing in the morning, it should be clear, because it should have been cleaned the night before. And so I drove over there Sunday morning, Monday morning, and then again, or Saturday morning, Sunday morning, and again this morning, and it's a mess. So there's no way they're cleaning it every day like they're supposed to. So I think we need to set a hard message to them that we're serious about them following our rules.
Well, I thought when we held up their building permits, in order for us to release building permits, that was one of the terms. The roads are to be groomed every night. And I'm pretty sure it's on that list, and they're not.
We had an agreement with them. I mean, listen, I'll work with the solicitor's office. If you guys want to impose something that comes from Gretchen, you know, it's legal. I mean, that's, I'm exhausted.
So I would say
I'm
that-
exhausted from it. It's like, man, it's organized chaos out there. is what it
Yeah,
is.
it's horrible. And they have, like, they've cracked all their sidewalks and stuff. I mean, it's not good. So maybe, Dan, if we could work with Gretchen and come up with something that lets them know we're not doing it.
Because they will go, they will,
Quite honestly, I don't think it's Ryan Combs or NDR. I think it's Stranisha who's causing
It
it.
is mostly Stranisha.
He's not following the rule.
Dan, I don't know that we really even need to involve Gretchen on that. I mean, if we have it in the agreement, if we can just stop issuing building permits, we just need to get a hold of
I'd
Liz.
just like her to write a letter to say that, because the
Well,
first
that's what I'm
one,
saying, she's the one that has, I mean, you
No,
guys.
not Liz. He wants Gretchen to write a letter to say.
I think it's time that she writes a letter. I've done everything I
Well,
can.
writing a letter is one thing, but I'm saying we have a means to just to stop issuing permits.
But in Dan's defense, I mean, he's reached out to them, 6 times in the past month at least.
They were running out.
They're just ignoring.
Listen, in the old days, I'll say in the old days, people didn't build in the wintertime. This is ridiculous. They're
Right.
building out there in conditions that only can make mud at this time of year. So, you know, this is production. They gotta deliver homes. I don't think they care. I think they just gotta get it done. And they're prepared to do anything they can do, but they keep forgetting they're supposed to clean the roads every day. They're supposed to do this. And they're not following what they told, they're not living up to their commitments.
Right.
So, but when the money was out last week, I got a picture right away. Joe talked to Ryan. They came in, cleaned it up with skid steers, and then they broomed right away. They did react immediately because they had a lumber truck that ran awry. It wasn't their guys. They had a lumber truck that went wild, and pulled mud onto the road.
They brought him in though.
Yeah, I mean, they should have walked them in. They should have had somebody walking them in to make sure he was okay in doing it. So, like I said, I'm very frustrated too. I know the board is, and I just think we need something. I'd like something official. It's in the developers agreement. I know that now, because the first thing we get a call from is their chief counsel to say, you can't do that.
Yep, that's easy.
Well, I think Gretchen we should contact Liz. I mean, if Gretchen writes to them, they're just gonna ignore it for a while. What you can do, give them 10 more days?
No, I'm just saying.
He's saying write a letter that
Yeah,
says
I'm
we're
just
going to stop
saying that
building
that this has culminated to the point that I think it's a legal issue within the developer's agreement. We have a right to do this. I think something official from Gretchen stating that from the township's lawyer would be good and try to straighten these guys out, because again, I don't, Liz can shut off the building permits, yes, but then the next call will be, you can't do that. Show me where you can do that. I just want to make sure we're on sound footing to do that. I know that we put it within the latest section of the developers agreement, which was phase 2B. I want to make sure that that's, we're on, because they'll turn around. I mean, they don't care. I don't want us in a bad position where we're telling them to do something and they come back and then sue us too.
So Dan, Gretchen, I just said there, Gretchen can write Liz or write something for Liz that one, Liz can say, and two, gives Liz the backup
There you
to
go.
say it.
Okay.
So that the communication goes from Gretchen to Liz, and then Liz is shutting down the permits.
Yep. Okay.
If Gretchen talks about it, write something, what you're gonna give them time?
Right, so, well, Gretchen's not gonna write to them, Gretchen's gonna help Liz.
I'll post right for Liz.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, they're in violation of our ordinances anyway. You can't discharge snow, mud, grass clippings into the street.
Right.
So it should be followed up with code enforcement. They should be fined.
Instead of not our roads.
Until we accept them as official township roads, can we apply our codes?
I don't think so. Yeah, this is a developer's agreement.
That's why you have a developer's agreement. You
It's
call-
still, well, if it's a temporary, you're not finished putting wearing course on, it's still an access road to that community.
But the ordinance reads they can't discharge onto township roads,
That's where you need the power. Once you accept the road, then you can police it.
so that's the issue.
Yeah.
Okay.
One more thing, Dan, if paving bids are ready to go, why couldn't we, authorize you to award them?
Well, there's, you have 750,000 in roads, and then possibly 250 in this bridge. You're gonna have enough money to fund this, we discussed to bring it all in, show it to the board, because you've got options within your paving contract to pull certain things out and kind of adjust the budget.
We'll be ready to go for.
Next month, we'll be ready and have a plan, we'll work with Dawn once we get the bids in.
And the bids are good for 60 days, that's why we felt comfortable doing that. Okay,
We're good on the bids, we'll lock in on the prices. Dawn.
for 60 days. Yeah. Okay, any other new business? Okay, so, old business?
These bridges that were removed in the park, Dawn, do you have any word on what we're gonna do? I mean, I know there was a couple interested people.
There was some interest. Ned Williams with the Montour Trail returned bill on to some individuals in Boone Township. I think they passed. However, along that same path, other communities were also made aware of that. So it looks like Bill's working with a representative from the city of Pittsburgh. He's expressed interest. They would also pick up, because we lost that time where we had the crane here that could still lift them and set them on a trailer for them to be removed from site. Well, the contractor is demobilized. We don't have that option now. So the city of Pittsburgh said, if things work out, they have a contractor that would come out, pick the structures and put them on a trailer and transport. Nothing finalized has come through. Even up until this afternoon, I talked to Bill, and there wasn't any final word yet. But before they get released, of course, the board will get, word so that they can make a decision.
I think the sooner the better.
Yeah, I agree with you, yes.
Thank you.
Okay, anybody, Lawrence,
No, it says discuss the sewer project.
right, did you want to do that? Lawrence, do it. You don't have to. You asked me that.
Was it last month?
No, too much.
2 months ago, we voted on related to the Lawrence Sewer Project, where the township appropriated $1 million. There's discussion about whether that money should be appropriated to the homeowners to pay for tapping fees. Well, I was approached by a board member from the municipal authority, and he said that was not the intention at all before I got on his board. So I would want to do things the right way, and the way the letter was stated. It was appropriated for the construction costs of that Lawrence Sewer project. I think that's where the money should go to, not homeowners to pay for tapping fees.
I agree with you on that. I said that from the beginning. Nobody helps Cecil out, nobody helps me out. And plus, we're gonna get a rate increase over here.
So just to be clear too, Gretchen had given us opinion that basically what was trying to be done can't be done anyways. We can't give it directly to the homeowners. So we're kind of at an even ground that way anyways. So if we want, I can open it up for public comment and we could take a formal vote tonight to appropriate it to the project as a whole.
Yeah, by putting the monies, giving it to the homeowners, that raise the rates of the township as a whole, a couple dollars a month, which is not fair.
Every month for years.
Yeah.
Right. So if you're okay with it, I'm gonna open it up for public comment and then,
I think, would it be wise that maybe we have it tabled and allow the residents that it might affect come into the meeting publicly and
well, I
give their
think,
side of the story?
I think the issue is the municipal authority's project is being held up because they don't know where this $1 million that we're giving them is supposed to be go toward. So it's
I
up
would
to,
make a
it's up to a
motion.
majority of the board, but I would say at this point, if we don't have the option to give it to the payment of the residents, the only other choice is to give it to the project as a whole.
I would make a motion to
So
table it.
whether we wait a month or not, the answer's still gonna be the same.
Well, wait a minute, first of all, Frank, back then, it was set up to give it to the residents, for the residents of Lawrence, it wasn't for a township-wide project. Back then, I'm just saying, I'm just correcting what you said.
Well, no,
The board has a right to change now, new board can change that, but back then it was set up to give to for the village of Lawrence, not for the whole municipal authority's, rate base. And the other thing, Cindy, what you said, Gretchen didn't say that, she didn't say you can't
She
give it
just
to them.
said that, she's just literally said that to me, so you can have that discussion.
Right, so 2 months ago, there was a motion that was contingent upon legal review, and the particular components of that were, one, to pay for laterals, and two, to differentiate between owner and non-owner occupied structures, and you wanted to pay for tapping fees in one and not the other, and I provided you all with my legal opinion on that. That sort of breakdown was problematic. So at this point, I think the board needs to make a fresh decision on what it wants to do. But I would have, if you want to do that, you'd have a motion in a second and then open it up to the public. Depends on whether you're ready to do that today. But
What you wrote, didn't change, you're not changing your opinion on what you wrote. We could give it, but we can't give it or hold back from, non-owner, structure, that's what you said.
That's what she just said.
correct. There were two components of what you all wanted to pass. One was an owner-occupied, non-owner-occupied structure differentiation, and the second was to pay for the laterals. Those two were both parts of it, and I gave you my opinion on those.
Which was, we can't do for laterals, but we could do for the property owners.
You could do it for the property owner,
No,
but you
I thought
can't,
said
Tap
that
in.
we
but
can't-
you
You do tap in,
can't
but not lateral.
not
if
the
you can't
differentiation.
differentiate between, like Frank's the landlord and I own my property, we would have to get
No,
it
she
equally
said that.
regardless.
That's what
Right.
she
Yes.
said, but you said that, she said, we can't give it to them, we can't give them the tap-in fee, I mean, we can pay the equivalent of the tap-in fee. She
I
didn't say we
said
can't do
we
that.
can't differentiate. We can't do what you wanted to do, what you wanted to differentiate between land.
No, it was a suggestion that came up.
I'd like to make a motion that $1 million
I have a
goes
motion already to
towards the
table it.
project.
I have a motion already on the floor to table it.
There's not a, there
I
was
did,
a,
I said I made a motion to table it.
there's no second for your motion to table.
Did you ask for a second? You went into continued discussion.
Anybody want a second Eric's motion to table? Happy? Okay, moving on, go ahead.
I want to make a motion that $1 million go to where it was earmarked for the project.
I'll second that motion. It's been moved and seconded, all those in
Have
favor?
discussion?
Now open it.
Oh, sorry, anybody have public comment related to that? Not everybody?
I wouldn't mind hearing any other people that might have relevance, or I wouldn't mind further investigating. That was 2013.
There's a motion on the board.
We're in discussion over the motion. So that, is there a possibility that we can investigate from those that did that motion? Was that 2013? Frank, is that what you recall? Who was on the board? Elizabeth?
11, 12, yeah, Elizabeth was on, Tom was on.
Yeah, and you said your intention, Tom, or your thought was that it was for the residents, but for a tap-in fee and not the lateral.